Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel NSR Info Technologies. In today's session, I'll be discussing with you how to create a data lake storage generation to mounting. So in the previous sessions, we have seen how to mount blob storage, right? So coming to this data lake generation to, it is a little, lengthier approach. So comparatively to the blob storage, right? This is a little tedious and little lengthy approach. So I'll tell you, like there are different ways to mount a generation to, but in two simple steps I'll tell you how to mount it. But just before going to that thing, we'll just go through the method one which we already have. Okay, so basically if you can see here, this is the method one which we already have. So basically what is this mounting is nothing but, instead of using the files which are already present inside your Databricks file system, right, without using those particular files, if you want to have access to your particular files which are present inside your either blob storage or data lake generation 2 storage, right, if you want to access those files, we basically perform this mounting concept. Mounting is nothing but it is a pointer to your storage account, be it a blob storage or data lake storage. Okay, so coming to this mounting of generation 2. So if you can see here, this was the previous methodology which we used to perform. Okay, so this was a lengthier approach because here you'll have to go to your particular Azure Key Vault, prepare your key name, and then you had something called as app registration. So these app registrations, and inside that app registrations, we had something called as a service principal. There we had client ID, tenant ID, application ID, as you can see, directory ID, and blah blah. So there are different kinds of things which we used to do in previously whenever we used to have this particular approach. Okay, and then we used to create we also used to create, provide a particular access, and then we used to create a secret scope, and after creating the secret scope, you will have to create a mount point to that particular container name, storage name, and all. Okay, so this was the first methodology which we have seen. In today's session, I will be discussing with you the second method, which is a simpler method, which will be, within two steps you can just use your mounting. If you go through this approach, right, it will take at least half day, it will take for you to create a scenario. Okay, so okay, all right, so I'll be explaining you the method too. So if you can see here, my cluster is up and running, which is my sample cluster, and I have created a notebook called as mount generation 2 notebook. Inside this notebook, this is the simple code which you'll be using. Okay, spark.conf.set. So inside the set, right, we'll basically be given two things only. Okay, so one is your access key, this that is the second one directly here. So and the other one is your data lake generation 2. So what is this, where did I get this particular data lake generation 2? I'll tell you. So let us go back. So here what do I have? I have something, I have created a storage container which is called as ADLS Gen 2 November. Okay, so that storage account name you are supposed to give here. Okay, so I just went to my particular storage account and I have copy pasted the storage account. This is my generation 2 storage account. So initially, if you want to create a mount point to a data lake store generation 2, then what you are supposed to do, you will have to go to this particular syntax. You'll have to, inside your spark.config.set, you are supposed to have this particular code. Okay, so this is the standard code which is available in the Google. You can just take that, and inside that you will have to just replace your data lake this thing is there, right? This is nothing but your storage account name. So here we'll just have to copy paste our storage account name which we are directly connecting to. Okay, so this is my storage account name. All right, so after that, what do I have? I have some access key. So where do we get this access key from? So if you want to mount your storage account, right, there only you will have to go to your particular input container, and once you go to that input container, okay, just 1 minute, let me go back and let me search for the access keys here. Okay, so here, right, what do I have? I went to my storage account generation 2. So this one I want to mount. So in order to mount, I have to give the access keys, right? If I have the access keys, I'll be able to get the permissions and I'll be able to read the files which are present inside my container. Okay, if I want to perform read operations or write operations on a specific file on a container, you can do that. But how do you do that? For that, right, you will have to go to your specific access key. Okay, so let me click on this access key. All right, so if you can see here, what all are the different kinds of keys you can see here, you have two different keys, and in that, one is key and the other one is connection string. So you cannot copy paste this one, right? So in order for you to make this visible, what are you supposed to do? You will have to click on this show keys. All right, so once you click on the show keys, so this will be displayed. So you can copy either of this. You can copy either this one or this one. Okay, and it is up to you. You can choose anything. Let me copy the first one and let me just paste it here. Okay, all right. So after pasting it, let me just run it. Shift enter will run your particular command. Okay, so what is it telling? This has successfully run. So if there are any issues here, right, with the key or else with the storage account name, it will throw you an error. Since there is no error here, I am able to execute it properly. All right, so after that, what am I supposed to do? Here I will have to create a specific. Okay, so this dbutils.fsls is nothing but if you want to list normally inside your Databricks file system also, how do you list it? You will basically use this command called as percentile fs and ls, right? Percentile fs space ls. So and then after that, whatever path you want, if you have a file which is present inside any specific path, then you'll give the specific path, be it a container. Inside that you have a directory, and inside that if you have a file, you can just specify the fully qualified file path, right? So if you execute it, you will be able to read that. So that is for a normal dbfs, normal Databricks file system. But here what am I trying to do? I'm trying to mount it to my storage account, which is my data lake storage, correct? So for that, I'll have to follow some syntax. So what is that? Inside my dbutils.fsls, I should give this particular syntax. Okay, so here what do I have? I have my container name and I have my storage account. So storage account name we have already copy pasted from the previous thing, right? So you can just directly copy paste it from there and paste it here. And then here you will have to give the container name. So what is your container name? Let me go back. Let me open my resource group. This is my resource group inside which I have my data lake. Okay, let me open it. This is my data lake. Inside this, I have something called as an input container. So I want to have access to this particular input container or else a directory. So this input container, I'll copy it from here and I'll paste it here. Okay, so that is how I have something like this. All right, so let me just execute it. So once I execute it, what information I'm getting? So by doing these two steps, right, what are you doing? You're trying to achieve your mounting. You're trying to achieve your connectivity between your um, normal storage account, which is a data lake generation 2, and your Azure Databricks. Okay, so this two things will make you achieve that. All right, so now the connection is established. Now I can go to my specific storage account inside here. This is the storage account, and inside that particular storage account I can have access to my particular input container. So till then, till here I'm able to achieve. After that, what do I want? I need to go through this particular 2021 folder. Inside that folder, it's opening. Let it open. So basically inside my 2021 folder, I have some folder called as December. Inside that I have a file with this name, sample sales.csv. Okay, let me see if it is opened. Okay, it is taking time. Let it take time. Okay, so inside my input container, I have 2021 folder. Inside 2021, I have sample sales.csv. So I am trying to read this specific file which is present in my Gen2. So for that, we'll have to initially make this particular things available. So once this is done, you'll have to write this syntax. Once this also is executed, then what you're supposed to do, you can copy paste this entire syntax till here, right? So till here, you'll have to copy paste it, and after that you will have to specify the path where you have the file. Okay, so my csv file is basically present inside my 2021 December sample sales.csv. Okay, so this path entirely I'm just creating one specific location which is called as file underscore location. This is nothing but just some data frame or whatever you can call it. So I'm just assigning this to a something called as file location, be it a data frame or variable, anything you can make use of it. So the same thing, right, I am passing whenever I'm trying to read the file. So basically, how do you read any particular file? If you want to read data to your data frame, how do you do that? You basically do it using spark.read that particular format. If it is a csv format, then inside the format you'll specify csv. If it is a JSON, then JSON. If it is a Parquet, Parquet. XML, XML. So based on the format you are using and based on the format you are trying to read, so that specific format you will have to give. Since I'm trying to read my CSV format, I'll just specify for dot format of CSV. And since it is a CSV, we'll be having header, right? The first row will be a header. So in order for you are explicitly saying to your particular data frame or else to your data bricks that my first row which is present, that is a header and not a direct record. So that is why you are just making telling it in this way, header as true. Okay, and dot option, and inside that you are just specifying it as header as true. Okay, so after this, what am I doing? I'm just giving info schema as true. What is this info schema basically? So inside your particular data frame, right? So normally if you do not specify this option, by default it will be considering it as string. Okay, so if you do not want that to happen, and if you want your data frame to at runtime, if you want your data frame to automatically, based on the values which you are sending inside a column, if you want your data frame to understand or else take the schema at runtime, you'll basically give this option info schema as true. Okay, so doing this, it will automatically at runtime, you're telling to your data frame that at runtime whatever values are passing inside a column, just take those values. If you're passing employee ID inside your employee ID, if you're passing 1 2 3 4 something like that, then at runtime it will consider it as integers. If you are passing some 100.00, at that time it will consider it as decimal. If you are directly sending name inside your employee name, right, then it will consider it as string. So like that. Okay, if you are sending a date column, then it will automatically consider that as a date schema. Okay, so if you want that feasibility to happen, then you can just make use of this option info schema as true. Okay, along with that, basically how do we read it? We'll just specify dot load and you'll just specify the path, right? So instead of specifying the entire path, what I have done, I have captured the entire path in a single variable or else a data frame, which is called as a file location. So now when I try to execute this, what will happen? Basically here you are trying to read a CSV format, schema will be taken at runtime, and you are also setting the header value as true, and after that it will basically go to your file location. Okay, so it will go to your storage account, and then it will go to your input container. Inside that input container, it will go to this path and it will fetch the file which is present. Okay, it will basically read the file which is present inside this particular path. After that, let me just try to execute this one. Since there are no errors, and since the file path is present and the file is present inside this path, we didn't receive any errors. Or else we used to get file not found exception, path does not exist, like that errors will be getting. Okay, since I have a file there, now let me try to read it. How do I read it? Using this spark.read format. Let me execute it and see what output I'm getting here. So inside my CSV file, I have these many different rows. Okay, so inside my CSV file, I have these many different columns I have, and I have many different kinds of rows. So if you see here, only first 1,000 rows are getting displayed. Okay, so this is basically how you read from a storage account, which is your data lake storage account. Okay, so let me just click on this. Let me just execute this one, df1.print schema. Here, since I have taken it at runtime, I have not specified any, basically based on the values which are being sent, right, it will consider it. I have not explicitly specified any schema. Okay, I have not defined any schema. So inside my data frame, what is my data frame onto which I'm reading the file? So the file is present inside my simple small data frame called as df1. I'm trying to display it. Inside my df1, I have this entire content captured. So if I want to display the schema, I'll just specify df1.print schema. Print schema is the one. Using this, you will be basically seeing the schema of it. Okay, let me click here. All right, since I have not specified any schema, I have just given info schema as true. So what is it doing? At runtime, whatever values you are passing, right, so inside my row ID, I am passing something called as 1 2 3. Okay, so 1 2 3 is nothing but integer, correct? So it is taking integer value. We have not specified any schema, but at runtime it is considering it as integer. Coming to this order ID. Order ID, what is this order ID again? This is in the format of some string. Okay, so that is why it is considering this as a string. So on and so forth, like that. Okay, postal code again. See the postal code here. Postal code is again a number, so that is why it is considering it as integer. So it will basically depend on that. At runtime, whatever values you are sending, right, so those specific values will be considered. Okay, so if you want to typecast it also, you can typecast it, you can just do anything. All right, so after reading a file and after displaying its schema, I just want to write this file onto some particular folder which is called as an output folder, and which is present inside my 2021 directory. Okay, I inside my this is my storage account, and inside my storage account I have one input container, and inside that input container I have 2021 directory. Inside that I have just created output folder. Okay, so how do you write it? Data frame dot write dot format. I want to write it in a CSV format. So that is why I'm writing it like this. Okay, and after that a dot save, and you'll have to specify the entire path. Okay, so this is the entire path. Let me just try to execute it. So once this is successful, you can go back to your input container, and inside that input container, inside 2021 output, let us see if that has been created or not. Inside 2021, see, one folder has been created. Previously this folder was not there. So let me click on this output, and inside this my output file has been created. Okay, so this is how basically you will be creating any, if you want to write onto your particular storage account, right, you can make use of this option and you can write it. So here I have one file has been split into 4 different files, but the main data, right, it will be present inside your part file. Okay, so let me open it, edit. Okay, since it is more than 2.29 MB, I can only, download it and I can view it. Let me download it. Okay, it is getting downloaded. Once it's done, I'll open it. Okay, open file. See, whatever data is present, right, the entire data is being sent to my particular this thing. Okay, so that is how you are basically writing it. All right, so if you want to write onto a specific storage account, if you want to read from a storage account which is a data lake storage, and if you want to write onto a storage account, you can basically make use of this simple 2 steps. Okay, so after this, right, you can just perform any kind of transformations and actions, right, you can filter it, sort it, merge it, whatever, based on your requirement, whatever you want, you can do. Okay, so I just hope you would have understood today's session. So keep you know uh, tune into my channel, so that I'll be posting more and more videos in the future sessions. So please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done it. Okay, have a good day, guys. Hope to see you in next future sessions. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye.